Welcome back to Easy Dispel, where the name is Easy Dispel, and we did it wrong anyway. I'm your Dungeon Master, Andrew. Joining me are... Oh, it's hard to say, like, anything about being heroes after that, David, but our cast, beginning with...
Hi, I'm Mike, and I play Raven.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I play Vala.
I'm Will, and I play Domen.
And my name's David, and I'm actually not the last one in line this time. We have a special guest with us tonight, and it is...
Hello, my name is Mako, also known as General Mako on Twitch.
And we don't
Nice
know
and
who
easy,
either of them
yeah.
are
I don't know
we
what else to
don't know
say.
who they're playing yet, because they're new characters. Again, being a special guest, and the other one being abandoned at the end of our last time on this side of the campaign. Those of you following along, we are skipping back over to the northern half of our campaign, where Vala, Raven, Domen, and that's currently it, are heading back from the northern reaches from the Nalburindian Empire, a no man's land between the tundra, where the barbarian tribes roam, and the Empire itself. Passing through the Dragon Spine Mount or peaks, Domen is leading the party back to meet up with the recently formed resistance. Citizens of Nalburund rising up to fight against the somewhat perceived to be evil or corrupt, whatever their take on it. But as a member of this resistance, the depths of which we haven't really got into yet, Domen is in a place to introduce Valhalla Valkyrie to her people. It is after you have left the city of Ulrich's Bastion and are beginning your trek south. We drop back off with the party. I'm gonna hand things back over to you guys, three of you.
Okay, so first thing is that I have to tell you is this group of folks is kind of, let's call them extra for now. Maybe that's the best way to describe them.
In energy, or
Yes. Yes.
right?
Are they like fighters, violent? Do they like stir up trouble and punch people?
It's really best if I just kind of let them do the explaining. Like I said, kind of hard to put them in a box.
Okay. And how long have you been with them?
Quite a while, but on the grand scheme of things, feels like no time at all, really.
I can understand that. We've had a couple people in our time that felt like a timeless time that we've been with them.
That's not exactly what I mean, but close enough, I suppose.
Are there any key players I should be aware of before we get there? Anybody of importance?
And he points back at you.
I mean, is there anybody who leads them more currently without me there?
Please, save your questions until we get there. All will be answered in due time. Right now, I think you're the important one, Princess.
Alright.
Okay, well, I guess it's a long trek down, but I hope this goes well.
Me too.
Domen to just a small farming village. It's less than a day's travel from Ulrich's Bastion. You would have set a rendezvous that was weeks away when there are much easier ways to travel. If there's anything you guys would like to discuss over this day, let me know. Let each other know, I suppose.
I just want to keep an eye out for any location that we might go by that looks similar to what Tez described as his home. If we happen to pass by it or not.
Let's see, 'cause this would be Looking at the map, that would be farther, like down the river. You'll be kind of like cutting across somewhat, a little bit more western.
Okay.
So you'll break off from the river before you would see Tez's home.
Okay.
In that case, it is towards the end of this day, having traveled and acquainted yourselves a little bit with each other, that you crest over kind of one of these small foothills that is common up north. And as you do, a small, maybe 20 buildings, vast farmlands in front of you. The snow that has fallen on the ground has been marched into mud, as if a great number of people have passed through here recently. You see no movement in the village itself.
Seems strange.
Does seem a little quiet, doesn't it? Maybe we go in, I would say stealthy, but don't attract any attention.
Right.
And I will throw up a hood over my, like, almost 7-foot tall person.
Are there trees around the village or anything like that?
There's a couple. There's like a small copse, like not even a full forest, just a short ways away from the buildings. Yeah, nothing major. Most of it is just like tilled farmland.
Vala's gonna use her cloak to make herself kind of look like a regular village person.
Okay. Anything? Is Raven doing anything, or just?
I'll just put my hood up as if I was a traveler as well and
Okay.
follow Domen.
As you approach this small village, and the snow and grass have been churned to mud, you see boot prints, horse shoe prints, horse prints, I guess. Felt like the wrong way to describe that. Hooves. And you start to realize, like, a small fence around the nearest house, like, part of it has been, like, broken inwards. Doors are open. One of them actually seems staved in. The door is splintered. And still, you don't hear anyone. You see nothing.
Footprints look like they're heading into town.
Yeah, and through. Like, there's just a swath of, where it's just the ground has been churned.
Do they look like travelers' boots, or do they look big and militaristic, like
Make a survival
heavy
check.
set? Oh, great, good at those. How's 4?
4?
Yeah. What do they get?
You don't even know if these are, like, necessarily humans. I mean, you're pretty close to the Dragonspine Mountains. This could be a host of kobolds. It could be anything.
Well, something came through here,
Yeah,
and I don't think it was friendly.
no, judging by the door over there that's busted in. Is this where your party was meeting us, or is this just...
This was where we were supposed to be headed, right?
Yeah, this is,
Yeah.
like...
This is the spot, but didn't expect to find it in quite this much disarray. Can I go up to one of the buildings? I assume the door is open, and see if I can't just peek inside. Do like a knock on the frame.
Yeah. Knock. This is one of the ones where the door has been, like, kicked in and is just kind of hanging half off of its hinges. You look in. The fire has burnt out, but you actually notice, like still somewhat red coals that can be left even a day after a fire's gone out. Furniture has been, like, kicked over, and you, like, looking in further, just this one large room from one of these small farm homes. There's still, like, food on the table. Some of it's been scattered across the floor. Chairs have been knocked over. Still nobody.
I want to look at the tracks as well that are coming into town and just see if they're like which direction they look like they were coming from. If it was from the north, kind of where we came from, or from the south where we were headed.
Yeah, give me a survival check.
That would be a 27.
27. Yeah, these are, and I'll give you what Domen is looking for before as well. These look to be like military prints, mostly marching in ranks, and they came from a northwestern direction. So they came in just at a slightly different angle than you had from your current path.
Gotcha. Well, it's definitely a military force of some sort. I mean, these boots are too big to just be your normal shoes and travel boots.
Do you think it could potentially be the force that we crossed that dam trying to get past?
I mean, they seem to be heading a little bit more north after we fought them, but I mean, it could be if they backed around, and there's a lot of prints though, so unless they got extra people to come down.
About how many do you think? DM, can we do a survival check for that?
Yeah, do I
With
know
a
how many?
27, easily a few hundred. Like, we'll say between 700 and 1,000.
This was easily a battalion or more. Like, this wasn't just some small party. This was, I mean, it looks like a war effort.
We should look to see if there's anybody left.
Give me a perception check. Any of you.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have advantage on these anymore.
I do. And with advantage, I still only rolled a 17.
12.
8.
8. With a 17, as you're kind of looking, you start looking up and you notice, like, there's a bird that catches your eye. And it's flying overhead and you look at it, and then it just kind of vanishes. And about 30 feet later, you see it again as it just like pops back into existence and continues to fly.
We're being watched.
It's at about that moment that you see again, coming from nowhere, a rope just kind of tossed into nothing, drops and landing a few feet in front of you, dangling up to this empty space where you saw the bird disappear.
I sure hope those are your friends.
Yeah, and I'll draw my bow because I've got a similar thing that I can do. So I draw my bow and aim towards where the rope's going.
Am I familiar with this showing?
I think this is familiar enough, especially as a figure with one hand on the rope leaps from the side of whatever this is. And David, would you like to describe your character?
Is she here? Oh. Oh my god.
Keep it together.
Shit.
I'm wondering why he was fucking with the voice changer. You can do it, Dave.
Alright. So, what you see is a person dressed all in black, has a cape,
Right, but what does
The
the,
whole
character
nine.
look like?
very round, very, very plump,
fat gum from My Hero Academia level.
All leather. Looks very uncomfortable. Face is squished into an unbelievably tight mask. IRL and in game. How's it going? I'm Fat Man.
Hi, Batman.
I'll look over at Domen, just like with this questioning look, like,
Did I tell you or did I tell you?
You want to come down or?
Oh, I'm working on it. And in his hand, you see he's holding on to a device, but he's more like strapped to it. It's like attached to his whole forearm. And he's coming down at about the rate of, how in elderly homes, how they have those chairs that help them go up and down the stairs? At about that speed.
Got it.
Yep, I'm almost there.
I'm
Hold on.
kind of lean over to Domen and this is the party that's capable of helping?
No, he knows what he's doing. They all do. Trust me.
I got bad knees.
I'm sorry, did you say
I can't
news
jump from here.
or knees?
Knees.
Okay.
Once
And
he
then
gets
come
about like 10 feet from the ground, this is a 50-foot rope that he's been descending. You see kind of a head poke out of a Goliath woman, who then, seeing that Fat Man has nearly made it to the ground, jumps and about 20 feet down catches the rope, and then just like hand over hand begins to descend. Mako, if you'd like to describe your character as well.
Sure. She's a frost Goliath, so she's pale purple skin, red braid shaved on the side of her head. She has like 3 different stripes on the side of her face. She's very tall, very muscular.
Yeah, that's perfect. How is she dressed?
She has like straps that have like some, I guess like a fuzzy pelt on her shoulders, but then she kind of just has like a wrapping around like her chest, and then just a pelt, like pelt pants.
Okay. And again, descending so much faster than Fat Man, like passes him on the rope before letting go and just dropping the last 10 feet.
just imagining Fat Man like he's climbing down this.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
stand
slap.
there, just like having my hands out, just in case he falls, because I know that it's gonna happen.
I will slap Raven on the shoulder. See? Told you.
Well, at least one of them.
Sorry. This is... Sorry, my apologies. This is Ramen.
Ramen?
Fawn.
Ramen.
Just let it happen. My name is Fawn.
Ramen.
Nice to meet you, Fawn Ramen.
Pleasure's mine.
So where are you all from?
As much as I'd like to have the conversation here, out in the open, where a large group of people have just ransacked this town, I wouldn't. So let's take this either back up or in a building or elsewhere.
I'm gonna look at Batman and go, I think a building would probably be better.
Quicker.
No. The ship is great. Alfredo! Bring the ship down!
Of course, sir. And you see a tall, like elderly elven man, bringing it right around. Disappears, and you don't see anything like a slight distortion that you're aware of it as this vessel begins to circle and lower.
Okay. Well, I'll follow you, Domen.
Sure. And as soon as the vessel gets down to the bottom, I will see if I can make my way in.
So as it lands, there's actually an opening, and as it opens, it is. Now that you're closer to it, it's not quite a perfect picture. Everything is just kind of distorted behind it. But as the door opens, you can see perfectly well inside. It's very well lit. So
Is the interior
Follow
made out
me.
of wood or metal or?
hard to tell at the moment.
I'll duck in.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you walk inside, it is very well lit, very fancy, I guess, in a way. Lights. Andrew, you go ahead. You're better at describing that kind of stuff.
Okay. It is. There is a mix of metal and wood. Think of like the dining hall in the Titanic, where it's like wood floors but industrial metal siding. There's an oversized chandelier in the center of the room, like that is kind of resting partially on the dinner table, like the dining table that is kind of stuffed in there. There are like white linens on everything, and like candelabras and lit, like all just covered in candlesticks, like kind of a gaudy Victorian era noble's house. There's a far wall that is covered in weapons, like and you see 3 different like fat man variant suits that look very similar to the one he has, but like minor changes, like different colors on the inside of the cape that you can see that are in these lit glass cases. The elven man who you had seen before, welcome to the ship, lords and ladies. May I take your coats? Apologies, the master can be less than inviting sometimes.
I appreciate the offer, but I'll hang on to mine. That's all the same.
Of course it is.
You're muted.
Well,
Bald's gonna
Okay.
take off her cloak and stick it in her bag, and then lean over to Domen and say, "I understand now."
Take mine and put it in my pack as well.
indeed. If you need anything, simply call for me. He kind of like takes a deep breath. Alfredo. I am the butler and castellan of this vessel, and I shall see to my duties. Make yourselves at home. And he turns and just like walks away up a narrow, like wrought iron staircase that leads up a deck.
Well,
Perfect. Well,
Oh,
Would you like to
introductions,
talk
I
now?
assume.
yeah.
Batman, Fawn, this is Raven, and the princess herself, Valhalla Valkyrie.
Pleasure to meet you. This doesn't
sure
look
it
like
is.
you're from, at least where I'm from. Where do you come from?
money.
Clearly. Fawn?
Just his bodyguard. I'm paid to be here.
That's ramen.
Sorry, Ramen. My apologies. I'm terrible with names.
You're fine. He's always just gonna call me that.
Well, I hear that you are in the business of taking down empires. Shall we talk about it?
Yeah. So, well, first, let's go to the dining room. It's the best place to have a conversation.
The chandelier on the table. You know what? Sure, that sounds great.
He turns and heads into the dining room where it's this giant long table, and on one side has like a 2x chair and everything else is normal chairs. He plops down in that chair. Please have a seat.
The Howard Taft stateroom.
I'll make my way around the chandelier and sit on the side that he's sitting on.
It is suspended from the ceiling. It is just kind of askew because it's too large for the cramped quarters of a ship.
Domen will just sit on the corner of the far end of the table, not in a chair.
I'll sit down across from Raven, because I'm assuming he's at the head of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah.
So,
Fawn is gonna. Oh, sorry.
no.
Fawn's
Go
gonna
ahead.
sit in a
I'm
chair.
so-
Fawn's gonna sit in a chair next to Fat Man, just kind of like leaning on the back part of it, and then she puts both of her feet on top of the table. She's just leaning back.
So used to only having the other four. Anyway. So, have you guys heard of me before?
I can confirm I have not.
Complete surprise.
Damn it.
We
Well-
have been in the wilds for a while.
Right, yes. Well, of course you haven't heard of me then. Well, let me tell you. They call me Fat Man. I'm not a hero they want, but I'm the hero they need. This country, it's choking and drowning in its own filth. Greed, corruption. They feed off the people. Like vultures circling a dying beast. They laugh at me. They mock my size, my hunger. But they don't understand it. This belly, this gut, it's a fortress built on years of pain. Years of waiting and watching and surviving. Every bite, every hour in this suit, it's me growing stronger, becoming something they can't break. The dark. Jesus Christ, such a long
I
time.
hate to interrupt, sir. Alfredo's come back down and he's holding a large silver platter. The refreshments you asked for. He lifts the cloche and just leaves. There's just a spread of like assorted meats and cheeses.
Oh, perfect. Bring something for the guests.
Right.
I'll look at Vala and just look over at Domen and just look back. You were saying?
It doesn't matter. I am here because an Alberand Empire has gone too far. They've started closing borders and taxing more and more. They need to be stopped. People need to be able to get their exotic foods. I mean, be able to survive.
I think we can all agree on that. So what have you been doing to fight?
Well, you could say that I may have heard from a bird or two that the princess is in fact not the princess. And, well, at that point I am glad. Because I just totally drew a blank. Because I'm like, what's the voice supposed to be like? And it is now gone. Anyway.
The young master means that he's been working to discredit and dismantle the propaganda campaign that's been currently conducted by the false princess of Nalbert. In your name, might I add.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
What actions have you taken so far?
Well, for instance, we've heard of a troop pushing through the area. Unfortunately, we got here too late, as you could see.
Were there any survivors when you got here?
Everything and everyone gone.
Do you
We
know-
believe that they're gathering supplies and conscripting the townspeople to the war effort. And that is being arrayed on the southern side. We don't know upon which of the kingdoms or city-states they intend to move. Please, the young master's not yet aware.
I don't bother with the details. It's fine.
He does not.
Well, I think you having some knowledge that maybe we don't have is beneficial.
Right, and Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong. There's something else that I have, or no?
Oh, shit. Yes. We're gonna do this. I'm just gonna throw this out here. Feel free to not address as Fat Man anything to me as the DM. Just go ahead and ask Alfredo.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Alfredo, do we have the things?
Yes, we do have a number of items that the young master prepared individually for each of you as an attempt to assist your efforts. Give me a moment to retrieve them. And please, I have provided more refreshments for the rest of you. If you require any more food, games, anything like that, make yourselves comfortable. I will go find these items really quick. I wrote them down somewhere.
So, while Alfredo brings this through, what is your current plan? Where are we going? Where's
Good
the
question.
Joker? Oh no, sorry.
It's a great question, really. I don't think we'd really sat down and hashed it out.
I think the goal at the moment was to reconnect with a network that I'd started earlier. But that's... I think that if we can find this faction that is conscripting people across the country that don't want to be conscripted, that is a wonderful source of followers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed a pattern of their path, of where they're heading, but I mean, typically they're gonna formulate that path ahead of time and stick to it. So I guess if you have a path, great. If not, then I guess try to track these guys down. And not necessarily step in, but observe and learn from what their efforts are and see what we can do. We've started some underground efforts to have some people get inside the Empire and give us more information and kind of tell us what they can find, but we just haven't heard back on anything on that yet.
I guess I'm a little confused on the follow the conscripting battalion. Are you saying follow in their wake and then pick up the folks that they don't, or
Figure
elaborate
out
on
what they're doing, and if we can find a way to essentially take over this army that they're building.
And if
The
we
whole
can't,
the whole battalion? Just
Yes. If the
pick it up
battalion
and
is made of these townspeople who have been pulled from their homes, certainly violently, I do not see that their loyalty is going to lie with the people who've done this. But, of course, we'd have to see exactly the situation.
and I mean, if nothing else, then we can find a path and maybe get some intel on where they're headed next and try to get ahead of them, warn the people, have them ready.
Sure. I definitely like the idea of less troops for the enemy and more troops for us.
Anything we can do to thwart their plans?
How quickly does this ship move, and does it stay relatively hidden, or?
Well, Alfredo's typically the one who knows more about the ship. I know it can go really fast, and it can also be really quiet. I don't think it can do both at the same time, depending on how really fast you want to go.
Well, having those options is at least a plus. Domen, was this the entire party that you were saying you had rounded, or?
There was more of us last time I was around, wasn't there?
Coming back into the room with several items in his arms, Alfredo goes, I believe that I was intent to take you to Commander Torvin. No? This vessel is more... It is a battle-ready pleasure vessel, which the young master has modified. The crew of the ship is not the Resistance. We'll take you to them as soon as you desire. These are the items the young master was discussing before. And he places, there's a small red, like leather-bound case, which he places in front of you. It is an intricate wristwatch. The second, which he opens, is kind of a larger leather-bound box, and set on the red velvet cushion are a pair of like shears, like you would use to cut the fur or the like shear a sheep. And then the fourth one, the largest box, he opens up, and there are 3 small clay pots and a fine like black wood handled paintbrush. A number of artifacts from the young master's collections. I'll give to you.
What are they?
The first is a chronolometer. It's a tool that can create a temporal bubble around the user. Somewhat inconsistent in its activation, but quite useful. The second are fate cutter shears. They're used to trim the threads that guide one's destiny. The third, one of my personal favorites, are 3 pots of marvelous pigments. A good enough painter can use these to bring their imagination to life. To an extent.
Thank you. I appreciate the gifts.
Guess we'll see what those can help us out with along the way.
I hope they prove useful. Young Master, I'm going to see to the rest of the crew. Should I set a course?
Wherever they'd like to go.
The resistance you spoke of. Yes, I believe that's...
I'm to say the general.
Of course.
Yes.
Today instead it is. And he turns and walks back up the stairs.
I'm gonna look at Domen and say, it makes more sense now that there's more of them.
You just had to trust me.
So, Ramen, how long have you been with Fat Man here?
About 3 months. It's been an interesting experience getting used to his customs of donning a new name, if you understand.
Yeah, I definitely understand going by a different name and trying to stay hidden and secret. That's not your real name, is it, Fat Man? Oh, I'm sorry. It's new to me. It's not something I've run across.
No one will know my true identity. And as he looks over and goes, "Ugh," and starts tapping on a wall with a nameplate that says Brayne.
Bruce Brayne.
And it flips over and it says Fat Man.
I understand.
DM, do I recognize the name Bruce Brayne?
The Brayne family, yes, they are a tremendously wealthy family of venture capitalists, known to just buy businesses. Give me a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's a 14.
14. Beyond that, you actually remember stories of the scion of the Wayne house, or the Brayne house, disappearing for a while. His family thought him to be dead. There was a huge ceremony held for him. You weren't there, but you remember hearing of it because he actually arrived at his own funeral to announce his homecoming, and that he was a changed man. From that point, you kind of lost track of the Brayne family as you pursued your own goals, but it was probably when you were a child.
Well, I'm just so shocked by your efforts and the passion that you have in this. We don't run across many people that are this passionate about taking down the Empire. They're usually terrified.
When you have the training I do, you're never scared. So up there, Roll. I'm sorry.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
It's
Uh,
so fantastic.
Well, how far is this trip to the commander, would you say?
You'll have to ask Alfredo, but not super long.
Approximately a 2 days flight.
Thank you, Alfredo.
Of course.
Well, I guess if we're gonna be
You
here,
hear
is there?
that echo from one of the cones on the wall, and you see the pipe that runs up.
If this is gonna be a few days travel, is there a place that we can possibly get set up for rest, or?
Oh, don't worry about that. Alfredo will have everything taken care of.
Great.
Although, let me rephrase. Perhaps if you give him your things, he will have them ready in your room.
Gotcha. I think I'll just wait for him to be back from dealing with the crew and walk with him.
He is great. It doesn't matter where he is. He'll like that. Alfredo.
You hear rapid footsteps, and then slowly descending, breathing somewhat heavily. Yes, young master.
Please take their things and put them in their rooms.
Of course. 3, 2, 3, 1 room.
At least 2.
Yeah, we'll do 2.
2 rooms indeed. All right. Let me just take your things. He starts gathering stuff up to listen. And he looks at his watch. And he turns and moves incredibly quickly for a moment as he deposits. There's a car alarm going up outside my window. Almost disappears. He's clearly acting under a haste spell as all of your stuff begins rapidly moving, and he stops. Anything else, young master?
I believe that's it for now.
Indeed. Call if you need anything. Walks
Thank you.
back upstairs.
Has anybody
you-
taken the items off of the table yet?
Nope, those are still sat in front of the three of you.
Domen will hit his fist on the table and make the chronometer, whatever it is, bounce into the air and catch it, and start fiddling with it in his hands.
Okay. And we'll say, like, when you pick it up, you realize there's like a slip of paper with a more detailed description, so you can see what if you want to look up the actual. It's the chronolometer on D&D Beyond. And then I put those in our Discord. Chronolometer, Fate Cutter Shears, and Marvelous Pigments.
I'll look over the other two items for a moment.
I'm doing a dangerous thing. I swore I would never put Marvelous Pigments where David could reach them ever again.
So, what do you guys do when you're not chasing bad guys?
Find bad guys to chase.
And you just all do that all from the ship?
Alfredo does a really good job.
I bet. Ramen. What did you do before you helped, or you were hired on?
I was a bodyguard for other clients. They didn't go quite as well as I hoped. So I've
They
taken
were
on another one.
acrobats.
I'm sorry?
Sorry. They were acrobats.
Got it. Yeah, the acrobat and circus is a dangerous field for sure. And I just kind of sit there awkwardly, not knowing what to say anymore.
I'm gonna pick up the marvelous pigments and put them in my bag.
Okay.
And say, well, Fat Man and Ramen, I would love a moment to get refreshed. So if you don't mind us excusing ourselves.
By all means. Ramen,
Yes, sir.
to the Fatmobile.
Fawn's gonna get up and go to the Fatmobile.
Which you
And
can
the
see
Fatmobile-
one of the there's paneling on one wall that actually like opens up, revealing a slowly turning like pedestal with this vehicle on it. And go ahead and describe it.
Call it a vehicle loosely. It is a rolling cart with a fuck ton of food on it.
Nice. And I'm gonna just go wherever Valo's headed.
Head to our rooms and
Okay. Who has the Raven? Do you take the Fate Cutter Shears, or does Val have both of those, the pigments and the shears currently?
If Raven doesn't snag them, I'll put them in my bag.
And I'm
Just
assuming,
so
and that is if Domen is hanging on to the chronolometer. I know you're just
I am,
looking at them now and can switch them around later, but
Yeah.
knowing where they currently are. Okay.
Sure.
So, you have them or you don't?
You have them.
I have. Okay.
Yeah.
I have both.
You guys go off. The rooms, which have a little sign hanging on it, so that, with your names emblazoned, seem to have been like quickly etched, like burnt into the wood. You open it up, and it is like a tiny little ship's cabin room. On one wall, there's like a large ornate dresser, and then there's about 6 inches of space between it and the massive like 4-post bed that has been crammed into this room. The door doesn't fully open before it hits the bed. Domen, if you make your way to your room at any point, it is almost the exact same setup.
Great.
except where yours is like a I don't know what the fantasy equivalent would be, but where yours is like a Parisian themed, like it's all like silks and gold and white. Yours seems to have like a jungle theme, Domen, where it's all like greens and dark woods, and there's like vines painted on the walls.
Great.
Yeah.
We'll have ultraviolet light in here.
Squeeze through the door into our room. We're like, they really like to fill it up, don't they?
I am. Will you shut the door?
Yeah. I'll close it.
Opulence at this level is just ridiculous. I
mean-
thought my family was bad.
Yeah, this is a little much.
I see now why Domen was hesitant at telling us.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think I would have been on my way here if I had known necessarily. But I mean, if anything else, I know we've got money, but
This is a wonderful way to help fund.
yeah,
And his actual family, the Braynes, I knew them.
no, really.
Yes, not super close, but I knew more of them. They're quite the large family in the capital, and they very wealthy.
Were they close with your family at all, or with you?
Not necessarily, no closer than any other rich family.
Well,
It will be interesting to see if any of those ties can be played upon.
yeah, if we can use any of that, that might get us a little closer where we want to go. I mean, I guess at least Fawn seems capable.
Didn't she say that her last patrons died?
I guess she didn't exactly say that, but didn't end well, so maybe she just needs some additional training.
Yes, I'm not withholding judgment for now.
It's hard.
While these two are talking, what are the rest of you up to? Domen, what are you doing?
I think Domen would have dropped the chronometer off in the room, and seeing the size of it, would have immediately left to find somewhere that he could stand up a little bit better, and ideally like some like a port window. Or I imagine there's not like a balcony or a hatch to get to the outside of the ship, so like he's looking for a window or somewhere you can see outside.
You going up that small like spiral staircase that Alfredo went up before is a large, a much more traditional ship deck. Actually, a number of windows that are all currently shut, and behind them there's probably about a dozen cannons, or a number of crewmen that kind of like pass you looks as they run about, seeing to all the like intricate pipe work and everything that are keeping everything moving. But you go up to the front where there's a small like breakfast nook and a large bay window on the front of the vessel, where you can kind of just look out into the clouds that you're flying through.
And he'll I imagine there's like a bench in front of the bay window. That's usually how a bay window goes.
Yeah, the bench and a small table with a white tablecloth, and there's currently what you're assuming are fresh deviled eggs in a small like tower in the center of the table.
He'll sit down on the bench, but like with one sideways, with like his back up to the edge where the window starts, with one leg on the floor and one leg up on the bench, and he'll look out the window. And if anybody was listening to him, they'll hear him start speaking in Celestial as he looks out the window. And he says the equivalent of, "Well, it's a start. We're getting there. The princess is. It's a good change. I hope you can hear me up there. Either way, be there soon." And then he pops a deviled egg into his mouth.
It's delicious.
He grabs like 4 more with like one hand and just one at a time.
Fawn, what are you doing?
I don't entirely know what exactly the Fat Mobile is, but I'm kind of just like, I'm just waiting around for like Fat Man's next orders.
Just kicking back. That's there's a bunch of cured meats, rinded cheese. Like, I imagine you probably snack while you're hanging out. Like, it's like working at Starbucks. It's dangerous to be there for too long.
I mean, if it's been a while, you would have been given permission to just do kind of whatever you want.
I guess I'm just gonna go. Is there like a room that's for like training for me?
Oh, there you have like a full-on danger room.
Okay, I'm gonna go into
That-
the danger room.
The door shuts behind you. Anybody from the outside is just going to hear like muffled explosions. There's a number of. You pretty much have free run. If there was like magical puppets, like golems, that were being produced from one side of the room for you to fight, what do they look like? Is like are they all shaped like Fat Man and you're just like beating up your boss on repeat? Are they an enemy? Are they just faceless puppets because
Could I do like faceless puppets, and then there's gonna be one in the middle that looks like Fat Man, and so I'm gonna be like practicing like protecting him.
Of course, yeah. Give me roll a d20 for me.
Actually,
So, bottom left side.
oh, I see. Okay.
It's one-sided die. There's no specific check here. This is just a
7.
7. You're doing all right for the like. To you especially, like you are kicking ass. You're smashing these puppets together. At one point, like you stand up from having like beat one a quarter like into the ground, where it's actually like recessed into the metal floor. You turn around and Fat Man has been like torn in half by 2 of these other puppets that are then like beating like his body with his own arms.
Nobody else saw it.
I'm just gonna like, ugh, come on! Like I can't let this happen to another one.
Would you like to reset the simulation?
Yes.
Trial attempt number 476.
A lot of
The
trials.
puppets
of
like
3
melt
months.
away and are reformed in one edge of the room where they all take positions. You just begin training again. Batman, what are you doing?
Do you really need to ask?
You're training too.
In the fat cave.
Oh,
There's part of me that just realized that you told Fawn to go prepare the Fatmobile and then didn't do anything with it.
No, we ate it. We ate the Fatmobile. And I we as in me.
Okay. Which takes us back to Raven and Vala. What else are you guys up to?
I think Vala would like to get cleaned up a little bit and rested, and then try and see If she can talk with some of the other people on the ship and just get to know them a little bit better, get some insight on their background, maybe some of the random crew members.
Okay. David, do you want to introduce a few of your crew members?
Yep.
Oh, you were sitting there being like,
Remember-
haha, Andrew's being put on the spot.
Crew member
Andrew's going to
1,
make up a crew.
crew member 2, and crew member 3. Yep. No. So, for the most part, they just seem like average people. Assortment of races or species, however you want to put it. I mean, one of them is a half elf, or not a half elf, a halfling, short, and looks like he is currently just wiping down a very I wouldn't say small but compact medical area, making sure everything is ready to go. And then there's another one just going through and has just a clipboard and is going over a checklist. There's a couple others carrying things through the halls.
I'll go talk to the halfling first. Say, hello, are you the healer?
David, was it a man or a woman?
Man.
Yes, I am. Yes. Fat man brought me on. Mostly I've been seeing sprained ankles, indigestion, acid reflux, the like.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Vonna.
Right. The princess herself, right?
Yes.
Brayne mentioned you'd be on the ship. Sorry, he bows. He prepared us all on etiquette.
I'm a little bit more casual than the rest of my family.
Right, but he told us he'd say that. And those that deem themselves more casual are the ones most deeming of the respect of the station.
What's your name?
David, what's his name?
It's in the book.
Harry.
Well, it's Harry. Family had a sense of irony, and he wiggles his hairy feet.
That'll be easy to remember then.
Shouldn't be too bad. Do you need anything?
I do not. I just wish to make sure I know everybody that is around.
It's a good crew. He's a bit odd, a bit eccentric, but he means well. He does good by us. I think everybody here was in a bad spot when he picked us up. Caught me probably one of the worst failures of my life. But he put his faith in me. Trust him with my life.
That's good. It's wonderful to hear.
Doesn't make him any less of an asshole, but we got him some slack.
Well, thank you. And I'll do something similar with.
Yeah, you do that 2 more times and don't make David and I make up more NPCs.
Yeah.
Back to back. And you get
Couple
similar,
others.
yeah, you get similar vibes. People that are like, yeah, no, he's insane. Not insane. He is eccentric. He's odd, but like they're all
He's
here
genuine.
for some reason or other. He's genuine.
Yeah, and my goal is to kind of help them feel more connected to me as well. And I'm going to remember all of their names. So when they pop back up,
Harry, Perry,
Ronnie
Larry,
remembers.
Larry. Jerry.
Terry.
Harry, Carrie.
All their
Mary.
names. The healer starts with H. the other crew members, whatever their role is, starts with that letter, but Airy on the end.
I love it.
There's
you
three
know that's not
carries:
really my
carry with
name?
a C, carry with a Q, carry with a K.
After Vala left the room, I would just kind of go through the closet or whatever, assuming like all of our stuff was hung up or whatever, and I'll look for. Go ahead.
Yeah, all of your stuff has been hung up and like pressed, like it's all clean, and it's been prestidigitation, so it's all like perfectly clean and lightly perfumed.
I'll go through there and I'll find the cloak that I had made way back on the other island, or the other continent, I should say, not island, that has like the deep forest green and the gold calligraphy and the gold threading, and fold that back up and put that back in my bag, just kind of putting that away and making sure that nobody sees that.
Okay.
Then I'll leave the room and walk about, and I'm sure I'll run into Domen out there.
I do want to throw this down. I'm just gonna say, like, you also like take a look at the description cards, but with the insane passive perception that you've got, Paula may have noticed this as well, but I skipped over it. When you flip over the back, it says, by accepting these gifts, you accept their non-refundable and enter a semi-permanent partnership with primary named in the contract. In here, Fat Man is like written out. And as long as you keep these non-returnable items, you are directly considered to be party to the Fat Man, and he can attend each and every adventure as he deems fit from here going forward. It's like it's a contractual thing that's like written out.
That's strange. And I'll kind of go over and stand next to Domen and just, mind if I sit?
Sure. Pop a squat.
I'll sit down and grab some food that's on that platter. So, just happen to follow us around?
Me? Happen to?
Yeah.
No, I was looking for the princess the entire time.
Just, you had this resistance already and found us?
Right. I've had this resistance for longer than you've been alive. Several times over. Well, not this one particularly, but
You keep speaking in these really cryptic ways, and it doesn't help me trust you more.
you could keep asking these very vague questions, and these are the answers that I've got for you.
Guess that's fair.
What do you want to know, kid?
We haven't had much luck with the resistance and people joining us, and it's just hard to believe that, one, we didn't see you at any point. I try to keep a good eye out, but I guess clearly I'm not as good as I thought. But two, it seems a little too good to be true.
It's not the first time I've been called too good to be true. But yeah, you're right. I wasn't following you, 50 feet behind you the entire time. I had heard you were heading up north. You knew of the clans up there. So, A leads to B. And that's how I followed you up there. As far as a resistance that's too good to be true, honestly, it's kind of the other way around. Your lady is exactly what this resistance needs. It's not us coming to you, it's you coming to us.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. It's always been us trying to find people.
Give it another 2 days and I'll have a few more.
They're not all like Fat Man, right? Like,
No.
Okay.
hard to find another one like him, if I'm being honest with you.
He is one of a kind.
More ways than one.
Well, for what it's worth, if we've got the same goal, I'm happy to have you aboard.
And we have the same goal. Or at least your goals lead to mine. So, I'm on board. Well, you're on board.
These eggs are pretty good, huh?
I can't figure out how they make it. No, I'll shovel like the last 3 into my... Or, did you want one?
No, it's fine. One was fine.
Good, because I've ate them all already.
Just kind of sit back and have a drink and hang
There's
out.
nothing else she wanted to chat about. And he'll stand up and clap a hand on Raven's shoulder as he takes off. I have another person that I need to talk to.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And I will hoof it down the hall, and I will also make my way to the rage room. When I
Okay.
get there.
I'm gonna hear the knocking on the door, and I'm gonna finally be like, all right, I'm coming. I'll just like toss the hand axe aside, and I'll come in. I'll like fling open the door, and it's like, what you want?
I was hoping to chat with you if you have a minute.
Come on in.
I'll come in and close the door.
You look over her
finally
shoulder,
got 'em?
and there's 2 puppets that are like throwing what is very clearly like a clay molded fat man head back and forth, where another puppet's like trying to catch it.
Take that as no. Still working on it, huh?
Unfortunately.
Reset the simulation?
Attempt number 2 after the one I said last time. It's a throwout number.
Like 469, I think.
471.
And I will let the puppets start coming in, trying to attack Fat Man. And as they do, I'm going to cast a resilient sphere around him,
Okay.
and I will start beating up puppets, but constantly moving from one to another, and never taking my focus off of, like, walking with my back to Fat Man in a circle around him as I start cutting puppets down. The thing you're missing, Lass, I think, is focus. You seem to be great, beating one thing to a pulp, but your focus should be here. And he taps the puppet behind him with his rapier as he goes to strike down another puppet in front of him. The thing you're fighting isn't always in front of you. You've got to keep your eye behind you as well. You give it a try?
I suppose I just let my rage get the best of me.
Reset simulation?
Resetting. Attempt number 472.
And I'll put my rapier back in and lean up against the wall.
Okay. Fan, roll another d20 for me.
Alright.
Can she have advantage? Okay.
17.
17, and then roll one more time.
20.
And that is a natural 20. And as you you mimic his first steps, you kind of falter at first as just you get that tunnel vision. The edges of your eyes start kind of bleeding to red as you just like punch through one of them. You take a breath and you do let the rage like fully overtake you, but in a way that you've never really been able to do intentionally. It's always been instinctual. But you instead of that like calm, controlled circling that Domen is doing, it's that primeval awareness that begins to surround you. And so where he was tapping puppets with his rapier, you are breaking one against the other ones on the other side of the room. You're keeping that same rotation, but you give up on the faltering, like dexterous steps. Every stride crushes the earth beneath you as you mow through these. You take a breath. Simulation complete. Success.
I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna look at David and I'm gonna be like, focus.
He turns around to look at me and sees the door of the rage room closing.
I'm just gonna nod my head.
Would you like to increase the difficulty of the next simulation?
You know what? Yeah.
And the puppets begin to form. What else is anybody else up to?
Just munching on some food.
Okay.
Can I talk to Alfredo?
Yeah, you can. That's do you look for him or do you just yell Alfredo?
I look for him.
It takes a little while. You walk past everybody that's working. You see the bay windows at which Domen and Raven had been sitting at previously, but now there's a croquembouche instead of an empty egg tray. You go up, you realize there's it is the like Christmas tree shape. It's a big cone made of profiteroles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Really difficult to make. You realize there is a second staircase like at the back that goes up and it leads to like a locked door, like a metal door. And you see a little nameplate on it that says Alfredo.
Make sure I am not interrupting at a bad point in the evening, but I'll knock.
Yeah. No. A moment goes by and the door cracks. Oh, just one moment, miss. And the door shuts. And then the next time it opens, this is not like a heavy metal moment. So
Alfredo's about to whoop Bala's ass.
Alfredo's about
one
to come out.
moment. One moment, miss.
Motherfuckers.
Door kicks open at you, throwing you down the stairs.
Where was
He's
that
wearing
music
fucking
when I
rock
needed
boots.
it?
All right, let's go.
But when he opens the door, he realizes that like 3 feet back behind him, like curtains have been drawn shut. And he steps through and shuts the door behind him. How can I assist you?
I just wanted to thank you for your help so far. And maybe ask you a little bit about yourself.
Speak nothing of it, miss. And there is not much to say. I served the Brayne family for longer than the young master's been alive, or you. This is all I've ever done.
Do you enjoy it?
I do. It's good to be serving something bigger than myself. And as eccentric as the young master is what he's doing as well.
Good. You're very good at your job.
I think one should always strive to be good at what one does. There's no point in doing something halfway.
It's good advice.
Did you really just come to check on me?
I did. I think it's important to know the people that are helping, that are helping. that are helping you.
It's appreciated. I hope the rooms are to your liking. But if you don't mind, the master does keep me very busy. And I seem to have a moment of peace at the moment.
I'll let you keep your peace.
Please, do not hesitate to shout if you need anything.
Of course.
opens the door back up, closes it behind him, and you hear just a large as a metal lock falls back into place.
Can I do an insight check into that conversation? See if he was very
Yeah, give me an insight check.
forthright, I guess. 19.
19. You have like very specifically worked with master servants in the past, and he is guarded, but you get a sense that it is out of like decorum. It's not his place to really talk about his employer.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't being deceptive, just
Guarded. Okay.
guarded. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I got planned for this whole trip.
Okay. Is there anything else? And we can say this is over the course of the next 2 days. If there's anything like anybody wants to do or discuss or dig around in.
I would just kind of flip through some books occasionally and see if I can see what the fat man has in his ship, I guess you could say, and see if I can maybe decipher a little bit about him and what he's about through his reading.
I will let Batman and Ramen describe what you might find throughout the ship as you do some digging.
Well, it kind of depends on where you go. In different areas, there are books in accordance to where you are. So if you go to the rage area, it will give you proper instruction on how to throw a punch or things of that nature. But a lot of it is just if you're in particular areas with the books, or if you go to the library, which the library is quite literally just a shelf of books. It has a span from geological maps, oddities, to cooking, to financial advice structure, what you're supposed to do with your 401k, how much you're supposed to put in, what's the difference between a Roth IRA and anyway.
If we read into that book, like what does it say? Just kidding.
Well, it says
Educate us.
it says you should probably put about 15% away. Anyway, no. So yeah, and then other various things. Not much to do on the entertainment side of things. Mainly, if you get into the nitty gritty science and things like that, but mostly of that nature. There are a lot of cookbooks, So.
The ones containing, I guess, strategy and things like that, do they seem to be well used, or do they seem like I open it and it's a brand new book?
I mean, they're used books. One can only read a book so many times, so it is, or at least that amount of books so many times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a brand new book, but I wouldn't say it's been gone through 100 times.
Okay. And then I guess the only other thing I would try to identify is where the fat man resides in the ship when he's like going to sleep, or
Where does the fat man reside?
Don't know.
Well, we'll say
just
The room next to the kitchen.
You mean there's not a floating bed in the kitchen?
You're not able to find the fat man's room.
Okay.
You know, at a certain point at night, he does disappear. But you don't know where.
Perfect. That would do it.
Okay. Anything else for the trip?
No. I was gonna. Never mind. Doesn't matter. We're good.
2 days go by. You meet members of the crew. You eat decadent meals. Train in the rage room. Oop, my lights just went out.
Oh, this again.
Compensated very well.
No, it's a different light. There we go. It's still kind of dark.
Moody.
Well, this is what you get. You get Moody Drew. That works. Okay. On the second day, at the end of the second day, Alfredo goes, "All right, we are approaching the drop point," and comes and hands each of you a ring. He goes, "So you put this on. Let's. I can't bring the ship in directly over the city, so we'll take you to the drop point, and then we'll bring it to the designated spot." So, Fawn and Batman, you guys have done this before. These are single-use rings that are very expensive, that make it so you can fall a great distance without being hurt. But they do shatter once they absorb this. But going down to the bottom level, which is even one space below where you first entered the ship on, a big empty room where there's just a seam running down the middle. It looks like a cargo bay. When you tap the gem on the rings, it's going to activate a marker. Fall towards that. That's your landing point.
Sorry, did he say fall?
Everyone?
Fall.
Yep.
Touch the gems.
Ooh. Okay.
Drop is coming up in 3, 2, and then a light turns green and he pulls a lever. And the floor opens up, and these are not rings of feather falling. Once you begin to fall, you are full speed. Vala, you recognize, Fawn, Fatman, Vala. Everyone probably except for Raven recognizes the capital city of Balenstead. It's a sprawling metropolis. There are like ivory towers at the center of the city, the castle of the Valkyries. Beneath you and a little bit to the side, there is like a aquamarine turquoise like pillar of light that is flashing. And you see as Batman and Faye see it and like kind of adjust to begin falling towards it. I
Good
need
on.
acrobatics or athletics checks from everybody.
Fuck me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, well.
Oh,
16.
Okay. See a 15 from Fawn, a 10 from Batman. Domen, where do you end up?
A natural 1.
Natural 1. Okay.
Oh, no.
And Vala?
4.
4. Okay. The DC is 10. So 3 of you kind of angle and redirect. And you guys are coming down and you notice there's like it is the courtyard of like a kind of a nice mansion. And part of the ground like begins to open up as you draw near. And you all, like 3 superhero landing, you hear the rings shatter as you hit the ground. But nothing happens. You're fine, other than the ring falling, like it kind of like dusts and little pieces of metal hit the ground. The gem is shattered. But you've landed at your destination. Vala and Domen, you two begin to angle, but Domen like kind of crashes into you, and you both, instead of doing that like nice controlled like angled descent, start like spinning, caught up in each other. At one point, like one of Domen, like the end of one of Domen's belts gets hooked on like Vala's hood. And you guys are just spinning. With a 4, you manage to recover so that you're at least feet first. But when you land in the center of a busy market, and Vala, you land like shakily on your feet. Domen, you just flatten into the ground. You both hear your rings shatter. You take no damage. Did they just fall out of the sky? They just fell out of the sky. Somebody get the guards. Guards!
Oh,
As
shit.
the people in the market start like clamoring about how the 2 of you have fallen from the sky. And oh no, they did. How did they're moving.
Surprise! Welcome to the extravagant circus. Come see us in the marketplace in 3 days. You'll see feats of amazing power.
Nope.
Do you want me to do
Roman
like a
just picks himself up off the ground, like
performance check or something?
dusts his pants.
Yeah, I need a deception check from Vala.
Okay. Oh, that's a 21.
Nice.
Okay. People begin to. I suppose that makes sense. And you hear people like kind of muttering and moving away. A guard like pushes through. What's the disruption? You say a circus?
In 3 days' time. Better save your pennies.
I don't remember permits for a circus. You two stay right here. I'm gonna get my captain, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this. And he turns and like shoulders through the crowd towards you. See, there's 3 other guards. One of them has like a plumed cap. The one that you know is like the watch captains, that are kind of like coming through the crowd towards you, and he's like working his way back over to them.
I'm just gonna grab Vala by the arm, and we'll just walk in the other direction.
Duck away.
Okay, give me a stealth check, just blending back into the crowd.
So good at those. An 11.
A 9.
11 and a 9. Now, Raven, Fat Man, and Ramen. There is a person like standing in front of you, like holding down a button. I'm glad to see you made it. It's Alfredo. Just greets you.
I'll brush off my arms and that wasn't so bad. I'll turn around and not see her there.
Were there more of you?
Yeah, there's 2 more.
Ah, missed the mark, did they?
Where are they?
I would trust someone in the city. If they're not here,
Shit.
you dropped, right? Fat Man, did you not give them the... How much of a direction were you given before?
Aim for the flashy, glowy thing.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty much the extent of it. Right.
Also, I'm sorry. You said this was Alfredo, right?
Yeah, it's Alfredo.
Wait, didn't you told us that?
Oh, I did. Apologize. I can be somewhat scatterbrained at times. All talk to me.
I'm gonna roll for insight on
Okay,
that.
go ahead, roll an insight check.
16.
Yeah, you're telling the truth. Like, he doesn't seem to be lying. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but like he's not being deceptive. He's just. I'll make sure I do better next time. I'll have a conversation with me.
Okay, well, we need to find them.
Do you have any method of contacting them?
No.
Right. Well.
I'm just gonna. Oh, okay, and I'm gonna like look for the city and start running to the city.
Fat Man, do you know if he's ever been here before?
That's a great question.
Before you go, have you ever been here before?
No, but I need to find them.
Dude, that's pretty apparent. We need to find them, but don't just run through the streets like a madman. We also can't lead them, like, bring attention back here. We have people for this. We'll put the word out. We'll bring them here. I just hope that they didn't land anywhere too conspicuous. People falling from the sky tends to draw a bit of attention. The landing, surprisingly, people don't really notice when people fall like that. As long as they land somewhere, you're protected like this. We'll get the word out. For now, I believe Kaylin would like to speak with you. Unless you prefer to wait.
I mean, she's like the most important thing in this. Why we're here.
Oh, it looks at Fat Man. Is she...
Yes.
Prioritize this. But please, you don't know your way around the city. We do. Shouldn't take too long to find two people that fell from the sky and landed. Again, hopefully, God forbid they land, like, at the palace. That could have been terrible.
The network probably already knows where they are.
That's what I think. Fat Man, would you go have a word with Darren? Introduce your friend.
Come on.
I'll look back at the city one more time and just.
Oh, you're underground. Like this is like.
Okay. I'll just look up then.
Space, and it is closing on top of you, like hangar bay doors.
Dope.
Lead the way.
And
Yeah.
I lead the
Yeah.
way.
He takes you through. There's a number of people kind of moving about in this like underground complex. Not many, but a few. You catch glimpses of rooms with like weapons being worked on. There's like a gnome that you like look in, and she is just like yelling at somebody and pointing at like a black smear on the wall that looks like soot and smoke. And you hear things about, equipment safety, double checking the calculations each time, and it kind of fades off. The room that you're led to, there is a man who is dressed all in black. The bottom half of his face is covered in a mask, like just a cloth mask. And he is just looking at a map of the city. You see a number of like red pins in different spots with like thread running between them. You're back.
We've got her. Well, we had her. She'll be back.
Cool, she'll be back. You want me to find her, don't you?
Yes.
We will. I can put information out. Is why I stopped working for you, fat man. All he wants is a sidekick. Somebody to take up the mantle. Do this better without you.
Turns and walks out of the room.
And who is that?
Don't mind him. He's fine. He's just a little moody.
I mean, it seemed pretty clear that he thought you were useless.
Doesn't matter what he thinks. As long as he gets the job done.
Okay, where are we supposed to be going?
Well, we're gonna wait until they find her.
Listen, I know you've probably been around this area for a long time, obviously more than I have. Do you fully comprehend the severity of her being gone?
Do I fully comprehend that she is going to be the one that will lead the entire Nalberend Empire? That she controls the fate of the armies that have closed down half of the borders? Yes.
Listen, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem like there's much haste here, and she's the most important thing to me and to this country.
I can tell you this. They'll find her faster than us even leaving this room.
I
He
guess I
walks.
didn't-
The man that was here walks back in. They found her. They're gonna find a safe place to make contact and bring her here.
Okay.
That's what a network looks like, fat man. There's more to justice than just your fists. I hated your lessons.
Do you two need a minute?
We had plenty of time.
And who are you?
They call me the Shadow.
He said there weren't more. He said there weren't more. He said there weren't more. All right, Shadow. Well, thank you for finding her.
The Shadow.
Sorry, the Shadow. The Shadow.
Either works.
Great. How long until she's back?
Between 15 minutes and 42 hours.
Great. And I'm just gonna look around for literally any other information I can gather.
I mean, if you want to go try to find somebody else to talk to,
I'm just gonna look at
the
the
Shadow
board,
is just,
the board that they've got with all the dots, and see if I can just start figuring things out by myself, because clearly I'm not gonna get any help.
Yeah, looking at the board, go ahead and give me a survival check, reading the map.
18.
18. Looking at it, the points that are marked as points of interest all seem to be either along the walls. There's a few in the palace, but then there's a number of larger buildings that are mapped out and notes, and they all seem to be financial institutions, colleges and universities spread out, and then tags that have like serial numbers, like 113498, under each of the pins. With an 18, you can't be sure, but these are probably like places where they're either like targets or like entrenched people. Like they're noting specific people.
And they didn't say where we were landing, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, they just
That
said
we're-
look for the beacon.
Okay, is there any indication of what the city's name is anywhere?
Oh no, they did say that it's Valenstead.
Okay.
This is
Okay,
this
I couldn't
is
remember if
the capital. Like
Okay.
the actual building itself, which you're able to kind of like find mapped out. You're probably like 2 miles east of the actual like palace grounds. You're pretty damn close to the heart of things. But you're still like outside those walls, like the interior fortress. Cutting over, Domen and Vala, what are you guys doing?
Listen, first things first, you tell nobody about that landing. Capiche?
Understood.
Great, great. Next, where the hell are we? And I will look around to see if I can't suss out what part of Valenstead we're in.
Okay. Give me a survival check.
Best roll of the night. How about an 18?
18. Not too bad. You're actually going to be able to like kind of piece together where you were supposed to be going, and maybe like from a bird's eye where you think you probably landed. Be able to start working out a direction. You're in the market district, so it's lots of shops. It's bustling at this time of day, kind of mid-afternoon. And so you're able to kind of start working the direction that you need to go. And you hear, Princess?
I will hand a rapier as I turn around to see who's addressing us.
It's like a halfling with his hood down. Come with me if you want to live.
The drama with these people. Can you confirm your identity?
Yeah. Lifts up his shirt and you see he's got like a tattoo. It looks like broken wings. How's that? Pulls the sleeve down.
All right. She has no idea what that symbol means. Fucking okay.
And he begins leading you through side streets in the direction that Domen you had kind of worked out was at least kind of the right direction. He looks around. Watch the alley entrance. And he hunkers down and pulls a manhole cover out of place. After you.
All right.
I guess that's me
follow along.
first, though. I'll jump in front of the princess, just in case.
Okay. Land with a splash. Around your ankles.
Know what that is?
And I'll slip down, and as I do, I am going to cast Pass Without a Trace, which I should have done earlier, but it's fine.
Okay. You hear sliding. The halfling is like hanging from one hand as he kind of pulls that metal plate back into place, pulls his hand out and drops as he manages to slide it the rest of the way. Pitch black for a moment, and you hear as a torch goes up. Sorry about that. Come with me if you want to live. I was going to say something like that. It's got a couple folks back at the base that are always dropping one-liners. Super cool. I'll get there one day. And he just turns and goes, follow me. Leading you down this sewer. For a while, until you get to like a locked off portion. There's like a barred gate. And knocks a couple times in a distinct pattern. You hear somebody knock back. Knocks. And a door opens. All right, here we go. And you step, and he leads into kind of a dimly lit portion of the tunnel that is no longer in water. Rises up a bit. And there's a couple other individuals like sitting there playing cards on just an old box. Nod at you. And going down just a little bit further until to a side room, you see there are two fully black clad and masked men just kind of glaring at each other, with Raven just poring over like this big map on the wall.
Come full circle.
I'll immediately turn around and run over. Be like,
Ta-da!
We're fine. It's all right.
where did you land?
Grab his hands. Oh, in the middle of the city. But we were able to play it off and slip away.
We landed completely elegantly, and then slipped away to here.
I guess as long as you're here, I don't know. I'm gonna just like lean into Vala. I don't know what is up with these people, but Shadow Boy is the exact same as Fat Man.
The Shadow.
Right. The Shadow.
And I would have you know that I'm the spy master of the Resistance.
Well, the Shadow? You're the spy master, and I'm the face, apparently.
We'll see.
Hey. And we've got a brain, too. Another point at Fat Man.
What do you mean?
Brayne.
You're the brain of the operation, obviously.
Are you Woo's Brayne?
That fool? No, he's just an arrogant, stuck-up prick.
That wouldn't make any sense. You're right.
If anybody takes an in-depth look, Raven now has clutched his short sword in his hand. It's not out, but he has it on the pommel after hearing "we'll see" when Vala said the face.
Okay. Alfredo pops his head around and goes, "Good. Now that you're here, I think some of the other leaders would like to meet with you very much."
Let's talk then. Let's go.
And he starts leading down another one of these hallways. The Shadow kind of following along behind. A ways down, a larger wooden door is opened in front of you by two men. It leads into, there is a large semicircular table with a number of people kind of sitting around it, and they're talking. There's at the center, directly ahead of you, there's a middle-aged human man. His hair is swept back to like kind of gray streaks running through it. He's wearing like a noble's robe. And Val, you actually immediately recognize him as Kalen Torvin. He is actually one of like the aristocrats in the town. He's an actual like noble. He's been around. His family's been around for a long time. He is leaning over and speaking to a dwarven woman. They're kind of having a heated discussion, and she actually pulls out a knife and like stabs him at the table next to her, and pokes him in the chest with her finger after letting go of the knife. Past her, there's a human woman who is kind of sitting quietly and like listening and nodding. She's holding like a holy symbol in her hands. on the other side of them, kind of with his feet up on the table, there's a half-elven man who's just kind of got his eyes closed and is just shaking his head. As a woman who's next to him, an elven woman, has a stack of books and maps and is like going over, and again, kind of in hushed conversation, she's talking to him. Vala, as you enter, the rest of you follow. They all kind of go quiet.
Can I, before we walked in, since I was still
Uh-huh.
wearing my cloak, I want to
Yeah.
kind of like shiver and make my appearance look a lot more royal but utilitarian, like a person in royalty going to war.
Yeah.
And then just make sure that like none of the sewer seemed to be showing on my feed or any of those kinds of things. It's very
Okay.
regal.
Of course. The conversations hush as they all turn towards you. Princess Valala Valkyrie. Welcome back to Valenstead.
Now, hopefully, you can tell me what sort of trap I've just walked into.
Trap? No trap, if anything. You could have led the guards here and have us all killed.
This city is a trap.
This city's a death trap to anyone who lives here, loyal or otherwise. You would have known it was a trap no matter what. Why'd you come? If a trap's your
Why?
concern,
Why did you bring me here?
you were invited. We brought you because without backing, as ridiculous as it is, we can't overthrow the royal family without a royal of our own. Anything else is going to be seen as those of us with power and not enough of it, just striking out at the ones above. It's not going to change anything.
Good. Then we're clear on that.
That is the one thing we are clear on. The dwarven woman goes, we don't need to make everybody get along and agree with us. Cut off the head and the body bows. See, that's the part that we sort of fall apart at the seams. We all agree on the what, to an extent, it's the how and the why.
Then I guess that means we have some work to do to find out how we're going to do this.
I agree. But here's the thing, and don't get me wrong. I feel like you lot need us just as much as we need you. So let's find a way to get along. Aye? He kind of leans back. Fun, Batman, welcome back. Welcome back.
It's ramen.
Sorry, Roman.
Great seeing you
Yes.
again.
Good to see you too. And the other two. What? Might we have your names? Sorry, no, Domen, I know you do as well. The other one. Other one. Yeah, he points at Raven. Might we get your name?
Raven.
This is-
Well,
Well,
since
this
we're all
is-
doing introductions, perhaps these two would like yours.
oh, right. Galen Torvin, at your service. I'm the chairperson for our little council here. That behind you, you've already met the Shadow, our spy master. This firecracker here is the name's Ivara Iron Fist. I'm our military commander. As she is, and then past her, Seren Ashvale, Blessings upon you.
Is that the
Cleric.
the lady
yeah.
holding the symbol?
Yeah. To my right here, and he clamps the half elf on the shoulder. Rhett Blackthorn. He's, well, not to put it lightly, I'm a smuggler. He's a smuggler. And then just past him, Honora Elowen. She's our scholar, chief strategist. There's a few others, and he gestures to the empty seats, that she'll meet. They're seeing to business. There's quite a few of us scattered through. What you see here is just the peak. Many of the people are disillusioned, they're tired. They know that what the Empire's been getting up to is ugly. Not enough. If we can find a way to work together, we are at your disposal, Princess.
Then let's get to it.
And I think that is a good moment to end tonight's episode of Easy Dispel.
Woo-woo.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
Mako, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank
know
you
it's
for having me.
fun to jump in halfway through what is effectively a 4-year campaign
Yeah.
we're in the middle of. But we are super happy to have you. We are, I believe, going to be back next week, right?
I believe so.
Depends on if y'all are gonna be back home in time.
Wait a minute. We're going to be...
No,
We'll talk about
this
this
is
later. We'll figure,
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
figure
talk
this
about
out. We'll figure this out. We love you all. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Love you. Bye.